Hey everyone, sorry about the crappy video quality. It's really awkward having the better camcorder thing right here. So I'm just gonna go with the crappier camera right here. So hopefully I'll get a better camera sometime soon. But for now, this is all we got. So I'm responding to Kinku T2345's video. Question theists can't or won't answer, which is a pretty old video. It's like over a year old, but I still thought that I'd respond. So if you haven't watched it yet, you can find it in the description box. So please go ahead and watch that first. But real quick, we're just going to summarize his question real quick anyway. So basically, Kinku is objecting to the theist's assertion that morality has its origin in God by asking how theists would respond if God were to come down to earth tomorrow and say that murder is okay. Would we still hold to our belief that murder is wrong, he asks, or would we change our view and believe that murder is a good thing? Now, just real quick here, I think that murder is a really bad example because by definition, murder simply means the unlawful or the immoral taking of life. So what makes murder and not just killing is the fact that it's immoral. So if God were to say that murder or immoral killing was moral, obviously that just wouldn't make any sense. So I hope you don't mind, but I think that lying is a better example to serve our purpose. So I'm just going to stick with that in this answer to your question. So anyways, that's not really that important. So but now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get to answering the actual question. Kinku, I think that in your video you've misunderstood the theist position, or at least the position of Christian theists like myself. It's not my view that morality simply flows out of what God says. So lying isn't wrong simply because God says it's wrong. Rather, I would actually go a step further, and I would say that morality in its essence, in its very essence, is rooted in God's nature. And that's why lying is wrong. So lying is wrong because it is contrary to God's nature. Now, I know this might seem like just a minor semantical issue to you, but in reality, this distinction is incredibly important in answering your question, because your question assumes that God can arbitrarily change his view on a moral issue, and sort of say something different. But in reality, it goes much deeper than that. God, because it's within his nature to not lie, cannot come up with a new system of morality in which lying is okay, any more than he can create a square circle. So, on these grounds, your question is simply invalid. However, I don't want to not answer your question, so I don't want you to think I'm avoiding you. So I'll try my best to answer it in consideration of what I've just said. So if God were to say that lying is okay, then I don't think that we would have any inclination to think that lying isn't okay. On the contrary, the reason we recognize that lying is wrong is because it is contrary to God's nature to lie. So then, if God were to say lying is okay, that would mean that it is obviously within his nature to lie, and therefore I think we would all have that realization, that knowledge that lying is okay. So in the same way that we recognize that lying isn't okay because it is not within God's nature to lie, if it were within God's nature to lie, we would all recognize that it's okay, that it's good. And so yes, I would also believe that lying is okay. But again, this is all tied up in this distinction that we made earlier about morality not simply flowing from what God has said, but rather from his very nature itself. So I hope that I've answered your question to your satisfaction, Kinku, and hopefully cleared some things up. So thanks everyone very much for watching. Peace.